and then there's the dark side of polygamy. Warren Jeffs, as some of you may know, he was a leader of a polygamous group known as the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And he had, I believe there was over 10,000 or 10 million followers. But he is now in jail facing charges, multiple charges. He had over near 80 wives, I think like 70, 79 wives. And 24 of those wives were under the age of 17. And he did have children with some of the girls, like 15, I think, 15 years old. And so the media did cover that instantly and has followed it, I think, since 2006. So they do show, it's in the media, people are aware of it, and they're showing both the real side of both sides, the good and the bad. So with that, prejudice from the book is a preconceived negative attitude, as some people may or may not have had before these shows go on. I think some of the attitudes were a little bit different when it was the Hugh Hefner show, where they didn't necessarily have real life issues, but it seemed somewhat glamorous, you know, and then when they see, you know, different ways of the fundamentalists and the TLC, I know a lot of people, as they got kicked out, basically, of the community, were not so supportive of the lifestyle, and it is illegal. So, but we do, like we learned, have stereotypes and preconceived attitudes and beliefs about these groups. So we're sharing it with you and shining light on it.
Good job, hon. And now I'm going to go over the psychological effects of polygamy on adolescents, and I'm going to cover a couple of research. Like you saw before, because polygamous marriages are more recognized under civil law in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, most research comes from these parts of the world. In a 2008 article from the Journal of Social Psychology entitled Psychosocial and Familiar Functioning of Children from Polygamous and Monogamous Families. They took a sample of 352 Bedouin Arab children, 174 from which were monogamous, and 178 were polygamous families. The researchers used self-reported standardized measures to assess the participants' level of self-esteem, mental health, social functioning, father-child relationships, and mother-child relationships, and family functioning. And the results showed that children from polygamous families reported more mental health and social difficulties, as well as poor school achievement and poor relationships with their fathers than those from monogamous families. The children from polygamous families rated their families' functioning and economic status as poor than to those from monogamous families. The authors suggest that polygamous family structure negatively affects the family's socioeconomic status and interpersonal relationships and impairs the children's psychological and social functioning. Another study that was done came from a European child adolescent psychiatry and was aimed more at mental health of adolescents involved in polygamous and monogamous families. In this research, there were 406 Israeli Bedouin people aged 11 to 18, 201 of which were from monogamous families, 257. There must have been a few halves in there or something. Research showed that continuous conflicts between and among parents in polygamous families offered the children non-optimal role models compared to their counterparts living in intact families with both biological parents. Children from non-traditional family structures exhibited more aggressive and antisocial behaviors, conduct disorders, communication difficulties, and adjustment problems. And finally, acceptance. Depending on where we live, how we live, who we live with, and the other influential factors in everyday life, there are different things that we as a society accept and decide to reject. We are influenced by our surroundings and make decisions such as what we accept based on what we experience. In societies where polygamy is accepted, they are less likely to think mental health issues and psychological effects are negative because they are culture bound. There are approximately 30 to 50,000 people that practice polygamy in the U.S. out of a population of over 300 million. With such a small percentage practicing polygamy in the U.S., the majority of the U.S. would agree that this research would agree with this research because society in the U.S. does not find it socially acceptable. However, we totally love polygamy. So. That's our presentation. Any questions?